Welcome back. We know the radical left loves to rewrite history, and that includes their own history. The latest example is the New York Times 1619 Project. The Federalist and other conservative media astutely pointed out that a look at the source code of the original description found through Internet Archives confirms that lead essayist at the New York Times Magazine on the 1619 Project, Nikole Hannah-Jones, has removed this line from the original text, quote, understanding 1619 as our true founding. So the true founding part has been removed as a description of the project. That was happening sometime last summer. Now, the contention is over that part, again, the true founding of our nation and what's being taught in schools as it relates to the 1619 Project. One of the core tenets of the 1619 Project had been teaching future generations that everything that followed the arrival of slaves in Jamestown, Virginia, was done to protect the institution of slavery. And of course, we know that's a lie. And now the 1619 Project and its lead writer, Nikole Hannah-Jones, I should say, are trying to hide that despite being quite proud of it in the past. Black Lives Matter also scrubbing the internet and removing some of its more controversial anti-American and anti-nuclear family rhetoric. If you go to the What We Believe section of BLM's website, you get an error message now. That website originally stated that the group was looking to eliminate the nuclear family. They also stated that they wanted to raise kids by villages and not parents. The website also used to say, quote, we build a space that affirms black women free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. Well, the website clearly highlighting Marxist principles there, but again, that's been removed. Many people who backed Black Lives Matter were unaware that that language existed until recently, until conservatives started pointing it out. And just like the 1619 Project's reference to the arrival of slaves in America being the true founding of this country, some of the most controversial parts of BLM's proposals are now gone from the public record as well. Let's welcome an old friend to talk more about this. Clarence McKee is an attorney. He's also president of McKee Communications, a longtime conservative. He also has a great new book out called How Obama Failed Black America and How Trump is Helping It. Clarence, great to see you again, and congrats on the new book.
Thank you very much, John. Good to be with you again.
All right, we'll talk about the book in more detail in a moment. But first, tell me why BLM and the 1619 Project are now scrubbing their websites from this controversial stuff.
It's because the American people are finally peeping their whole card. These are fraudulent organizations. It's very clear that Black Lives Matter is an anti-male organization. It wants men out of the household. And then, the 1619 Project is a fraud. They want these kids in this country to grow up thinking that all white people are bad. You can have your daughter, John, come home and dinner table one night and say, Daddy, are you a racist? Am I a racist? It's teaching division and hatred, and it's disgusting. The great things in this country that we've accomplished since the days of slavery is what should be taught. What's great in our United States Constitution. We're not perfect, but my gosh, we've gone a long way, more than any other country in the world, to getting rid of systemic racism. Systemic racism is what they had in South Africa under apartheid. It's what happened in down south under segregation. We have our problems. So you get a lot of guilty white people out here after the sad death of Mr. Floyd. So they want to pat themselves on the back saying, we're helping black folks. So they're writing these big checks to Black Lives Matter. But if you look at their own households, I should say their work holes, they are promoting many blacks in the key jobs. They are not hiring black consultants. So it's all a fraud to make people feel good. And finally, the American people are waking up to this fraud that's been perpetrated. 1619 is a hoax. The 1776 Project, which the president's launching, and which Bob Woodson of the Woodson Center has launched, talks about the values of our country, Thomas Jefferson, not their weaknesses, but the principles of freedom, justice, and equality, which we're still trying to get.
We can't cherry pick, Clarence, our future, our past here. Some of it's ugly, and we got to learn about that as well. Let's talk. We got a minute. We only have a minute left, Clarence. I want to reference your book real quick. It's called How Obama Failed America and How Trump is Helping It. Real quickly in the last minute here, what do you think is the #1 issue that Trump has done better than Obama when it comes to helping black Americans?
Oh, my God, it's the total issue. School choice. Illegal immigration is being fought. Illegal immigration hurts low-skilled people. Prison reform. Mr. Biden's 1994 crime bill put thousands of blacks in jail. If you look at the cover of my book, those beautiful little kids, a lot of their parents are in jail because of the Democrats. Obama had 8 years to do something about it, did nothing. Then you've got prison reform, the First Step Act. All of these things have been helpful. And then the economy, 5.4% of black unemployment, the lowest in history. And as I point out in the book, through a lot of my Newsmax articles, Obama was a total failure. And this whole thing helping black people, he really did nothing. It was all symbolic. Donald Trump is doing a lot to help, especially like the issue of abortion. My God, 1/3 of all
and he doesn't get he doesn't get the credit for it, but we'll find out what happens at the polls. You know, Donald Trump could exceed expectation when it comes to the black vote this year. Clarence, we thank you for your time and congrats on the new book. Get it. It's available now. And that's going to do it for our first hour. Thanks so much to Clarence McKee. We'll be back. We're going to talk about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and if they will really pack the Supreme Court. That's next.